the governor helped pass the bill through the legislature in part because of your vote on that issue. And I was wondering if you can explain a little bit about your evolution on that issue. And then secondly, if you can also talk about the impact that law has had now that it's a year old.
And that question's for both candidates, correct?
If we could start with the senator first.
It was no revolution at all. When approached with an issue, I'm a leader who listens to other people. When I took an oath to be a state senator, it was to represent people. Not my interests, but the interests of my people. So in 2009, I believe in 2009, when we approached with the bill, and it failed, and I voted no. At that time, 700 people or so wanted me to vote no, and I voted no. In 2011, I told everybody, I am but one person. I'm a Catholic, a practicing Catholic. Gay marriage wasn't something I was brought up to believe in, to acknowledge, but I'm an elected official. I'm not a religious leader, I'm a people leader. And I represent 350,000 people, all sorts of people, all kinds of religions. 7,974 people, I'll never forget the number, waiting on this issue for me in my office. 74% wanted me to vote yes. I voted yes, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do. I can't choose between the easy votes and the hard votes. I make tough decisions. Those decisions I think that are best for my people. Those who were not in favor of gay marriage, they were heard too, because there's a lot of religious protections in the bill. And here we are a year later, and we find that to Catholics, to Muslims, to Jewish faith, marriage, still in their eyes, is man and woman. In the eyes of the state, it's a different definition. It affords, same-sex couples 1,000 extra rights. It's a year later. We have not seen any change in our lives from the bill. We still have serious issues, ladies and gentlemen, and I work on all of them. Gay marriage, the jobless rate, high cost of health care, potholes, streetlights. It's a myriad of problems that we have out there. They're tough problems out there. People are hurting out there. So I'm not going to be held back by one bill. I refuse to. This bill's a year old, our lives haven't changed, but I need to address the serious issues, day-to-day issues that my people have today, and that's what I choose to do. Thank you.
Actually, if we can go to the councilman, if you can state how you would have voted on that bill if you were there at the time, and then the second part to it, in addition to the impact you've seen on that bill, would you work in any way to bring the bill up for a repeal?
Right, okay, very valid question. First of all, let's clarify something. Gay marriage and potholes are not equivalent, okay? That's number one. If I were in the state senate, I would have voted no, because I also am a Roman Catholic, and I was raised to believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, and that is my personal belief. You may disagree, and that's fine. Now, when we make decisions as elected officials, we do not stick our finger in the air to see which way the wind is blowing, that this year we vote one way and 2 years later we vote another. When you're an elected official and you have to take tough stands on issues, no matter how tough or heart-wrenching they may be, you have to go with your gut. You have to vote your values. And you know when you worry about the consequences? At the ballot box. You're not supposed to worry about that on any other day other than election day. You stand on your record, you vote for what you believe in, and that's it. You don't flip-flop one way, the other way. 2 years, I sent out postcards, I got 5,000 back. You have 327,000 constituents. And you base the decision on what 7,000 people return back to your office.
If I can just follow up, will you work?
The bill is not coming up for repeal.
Would you work to make that happen then?
No, I would not.
Okay.
It's not coming up for repeal, and that's, we got other problems.
Okay, and if you could talk about the impact the bill has had, it's a year old. Is there any impact that you've seen that bill have?
I think that for those couples who chose to get married, it has had a positive impact on their lives and the lives of their families. For them. That is the only impact that I can tell so far.
Two last points on marriage. My vote wasn't the deciding vote. These fellows allowed the bill, the Republican leader, who allowed the bill to get on the floor. Dean Skelos, the Republican Majority Leader, allowed that bill to get to the floor. He allowed 4 Republican senators to vote for it. Even if I did vote no, it still passes. So I'm not deciding to vote, and you have marriage equality because of Dean Skelos and the 4 Republicans. And I just want to be in full disclosure, and I know my opponent's going to agree. Well, before I voted yes in the state senate for marriage equality, there was a bill in the city council in 2010. It was Intro 260 that said if you're a same-sex couple, you can go to another state, get married, come back to New York, and we'll recognize it. And my opponent voted for it. So before I voted yes, my opponent voted for a very similar bill within the jurisdiction of the city council.
So, Ozzy, I think you're familiar with this legislation. You know, and every reporter knows, it was not an endorsement of gay marriage. It was a freedom of information law that basically said the city clerk has to provide on his website, similar to the way he provides information on where guns are legal, where guns are not legal, and the laws in those states, where marriage is legal between a man and a woman, and where same-sex marriage is legal. That's all it was. It wasn't a resolution calling on the state senate to pass gay marriage. It wasn't an endorsement of gay marriage. It was a freedom of information law, and I voted yes.
Okay.
It's not the same.